All right, Bert, welcome in. Ryan Tringer for your Class A Pro recording. And so you came in today telling me 50 to 90 we got to work on. So we're going to go through 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90 and figure those out. This one you hit 50, but let's see how you did it. Let's see what you did to try to do that. So first of all, set of posture looks nice. Good job, Bert. You got your arms in the triangle shape. Nice work. Let's see. The right hand grip looks good. The left hand grip is good also. Let's see. Your ball position is back in your stance. So you could move it more to the center. Here's the center. It's slightly back. You could play it back. The old pros from the, the 50s and stuff used to play it back in their stance. The modern player, we play it more in the center. I find that playing it back, I'll tend to push it to the right a little bit. So I like to play it in the middle. I seem to send it straighter then. So, I'm not too,
It's funny as it looks in the middle. I mean, I gotta just realize.
Yeah. You just got to practice it with a stick on the ground is what I've always done. Now let's take a look and see what happens with your body position, with your fundamentals on this shot. Here we go. This week I had a student go from 220 off the tee to hitting it 298 off the tee. And I had a student that was hitting a 7-iron 150, hit a 7-iron 170. Cool, huh? That's my latest. All right, here we go. Let's take a look here. Okay, so right away you're hinging your wrist. No good. You don't want to be a wristy player like that in this type of shot. We're trying to utilize the big muscles as much as we can because they're more consistent to move. So this one in your takeaway, you're not doing this low and slow. You're going up straight away like this, and you want the arc to be more like that, low and slow. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So see how there's no space in here? There's no width in the takeaway. All right. So yeah, tons of wrist movement here. Okay. Now, good news is though, look, hip is good, head position's good. Look, everything else is fine. It's just that you're way too wristy in your backswing. All right, now let's take a look and see what's coming down here. Okay, so then because you hinge so much, you cast coming down. And so your club on the left here now is too steep. It's over the top. See, the problem with hinging early is then the likelihood is that you'll unhinge on the downswing. When we
hinge, you mean this?
Breaking your wrist. You break your wrist early. So then, of course, or cocking your wrist, let's say. Cocking your wrist. You cock your wrist early, so you're going to uncock your wrist coming down.
Okay.
If you don't cock your wrist in the backswing, you're able to cock your wrist on the downswing. Or hinge. We say hinge, but whatever you want. No, not supinate. Hinge. Breaking your wrist. The hinging or unhinging of your wrist. Yeah. So if we look at the arc of your club head, let's check it on the right actually a little bit more. Let me trace it. And then you scoop into it. See how you're scooping? Right? So you're scooping here. Okay. So you got the same problem here with the arms and the wrist. And the problem with that is now you've added loft to the club. So now you've taken, what club is this? 56. And you've turned it into a lob wedge. 55. You turned it into a 60 degree by adding the loft. Because what happens when you scoop your hand? Right? So look, if I'm like this, right? And that's the problem with getting too wristy, Now, here's the deal. Phil Mickelson has a short game series you can watch where he talks about him using his wrists a lot. But here's the thing. He hits balls for 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, try and do what he does, but then you got to practice as much as him too. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so nobody has time for that. I mean, sure. No one I know anyway.
Or the talent.
Yeah, or that. Yeah, that's the other part of it, huh?
Well, they haven't come with him story after, right?
I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry that you're dealing with that. All right, let's take a look at this one here. So then up you go here. Now let's take a look at the arc coming down. Yeah, so it's just a little bit on the steep side. It's just a little bit on the steep side here. Now look, your head and your hip and all are in a good spot. Okay. And then look, very scoopy on the follow through. Okay. So this shot, you would want to use the triangle more, right? And it seems like the thing missing here is knowing the triangle hinge triangle through, like I was saying, because if you do the big triangle, I call it, where you do the triangle from, let's say, from shoulder high to shoulder high, from here to here, if you do the triangle, but you don't get 50 yards, then you have to allow the wrist to hinge or cock or set or whatever you want to call it, to add the more distance, right? And maybe that's the part that's missing. So first thing I want to see is if you do a big triangle where you eliminate so much wrist movement, how far the ball goes, and then we'll go from there.